Joining me on the set is our foreign editor, Philip Turle. Hello to you, Philip. The path forward for the Eurozone's second largest economy, very uncertain. Why is finding a budget here in France so difficult?
You have several reasons. The first one is that there is no absolute majority in Parliament. And normally when a government is elected or a new president takes office, they hold legislative elections to elect a Parliament which has a majority to push through the legislation. This is not the case for Emmanuel Macron. He tried to dissolve the National Assembly to have a majority in his favour back in 2024. That failed badly and now has an even smaller relative majority in Parliament, but he needs the support of opposition parties to push through any legislation. That's why we're in the situation we're in right now, where the government is trying very hard to push this budget through. It needs the support of other parties, but it doesn't really have enough support without facing at the same time a motion of no confidence, which has been tabled by, as we were just hearing from Olivia, these two far left and far right parties, the France Unbowed of Jean-Luc Mélenchon and the National Rally of Marine Le Pen, who are trying to bring the government down, basically because they smell blood. They know the government is weak. They know they can bring it down. They want to take power. And they see that this is an opportunity for them to get rid of Emmanuel Macron, because if the government falls, it will put the president in an even more fragile position. They want early presidential elections. They want a whole change of the political system in France. They don't want to wait until 2027, which is when the next presidential election takes place. So that's where we're coming from in all of this. And as we were hearing that the socialists have backed the government in this budget, it's basically because the socialists fear that if there is an early election now, they will see their support dwindle even more. That's the feeling, I think, also on the right, as far as the Republican Party is concerned, the party of Nicolas Sarkozy and Jacques Chirac, which is failed to keep its consolidated large number of deputies in the National Assembly. They also fear early elections. They need time to rebuild the confidence they have with the French people. So that's why this budget has been so crucial in trying to see if the government will survive. It appears for the moment the government has survived, but there is going to be another motion of no confidence in the government once this budget has been examined in the Senate, and that will be concerning all of the budget, because we've had the first motion of no confidence on the receipts that the government is going to get, and then the second version of no confidence on the spending the government is going to do. When it comes back to the National Assembly after having gone to the Senate, there will be another motion of no confidence in that budget, and it will concern everything, and that's why it's a little bit more risky for the government when that is going to happen probably in the next few days.
Yeah, and it feels like, Philip, we're doing this every few times. We've had budget disputes topple three governments since 2024. On the one hand, you have the opposition that says Article 49.3 is unconstitutional, except it's laid out in the Constitution. Sébastien Lecornu himself saying, if debate isn't productive, then one has to assume responsibility. How do you get through this?
Well, I think there's a feeling that Sébastien Lecornu is a nice guy. He didn't want to use this Article 49.3, which basically allows the government to bypass a vote in the National Assembly on pushing legislation through, but then faces a vote of confidence in that legislation afterwards. That's the situation we're in today. He said, I'm not going to use the 49.3. We're going to work out a compromise with all the political parties to get the budget pushed through. This is not a purely Macron budget because we need the support of other parties. But that's not the message coming from the France Unbowed on the far left and the National Rally on the far right. They want the government gone, so they will always vote against it. For the moment, the government has managed to survive these votes of no confidence. How long that's going to last for, they've got another year and a half to go before the next presidential and probable legislative elections. Unless something happens between now and then, there could be early legislative elections. But if Sébastien Lecornu can survive the next week or so in the government, then I think he'll be in a position, a more strong position. I think strong is probably too strong a word for that, but a comfortable position to carry on with his policies up until the next presidential election next year.